So for the front, I'm going to be putting it in bias form. Remember, we're cutting this on bias form. You can see I put it on bias form already. So for this, I'm going to be taking 2 inches from the first slash. I'm going to be taking in 2 inches. I'm going to be taking in 2 inches for this, and I'm going to be slashing it. For the first two, I'm going to be using 2 inches. For the first two, I'm going to be using 2 inches for the first two. So this, I'm going to be using 2 inches. Then for the third one, I'm going to be using 1.5. I'm going to be using 1.5 for this. I don't want it too full, but you can actually make yours to 2 inches, but I want to reduce how this will be. I'm going to take 1.5 here also. So for this one, I'm going to be taking 2 inches. I'm going to be taking 2 inches here and here. Remember, we did this on bias form. Remember, it is on bias form. So I'm trying to pin it, and the paper is just cutting. I'm not using this pattern for any other skirt, so if I'm going to be using it, I have to tape it back. I have to tape them back. So this is 2 inches also for this part. Remember, I haven't put my my sewing allowance. And then for this, I'm going to be putting in an extra 1/2 inch on this side. I'm going to be putting in extra 1/2 inch because I reason that if I use only this 1/2 inch, and I want to overlock this the tip of all these places. So if I fold it in, the 1/2 inch will be so small. So I'm going to be adding extra 1/2 inch on all of this, and on this place I'm going to be adding 1 inch. This fabric should be cut on hair. Do not forget, this is on bias form. And for the M line, I'm going to be adding 1 inch for our allowance. Please do remember all this I've told you. If you don't understand any of this, please still let me know. Thank you. So now I'm going to be marking out the 1/2 inch that I want to put here. I'm going to be marking out the 1/2 inch that I want to put here. I'm I'm going to be marking at the 1/2 inch I want to put here. If you know you can't mark your 1/2 inch this way, please use your tape rule. Please always use your tape rule. If you know you are not up to this level, if you know you are not up to this level of knowing where your 1/2 inch is, please use your tape rule. This fabric, as I said, this fabric is something else. So please do not forget, we are going to be adding in our half. We're going to be adding in 1 inch on our side for our sewing allowance. If you know you have a correction that you want to let me know about this pattern that I made, please do let me know. We are all learning. If you know there's a correction you want to make on this pattern for me, or there's anything you want to let me know about this pattern that I made, please do let me know in the comment section. And please do not forget to subscribe, because we are going to be bringing in more tutorials, and we are going to be learning more things. So now we're going to go in and then cut it. We're going to go in to cut it now. So now we're going to be doing the second part. We already labeled in the second part. So please do not forget 2 inches here. We're still cutting it on bias form. Remember, I used 2.5 yards of fabric. You can buy 3 if you want it to come out well, but you still have some that you can still use for maybe a crop top or something. So 2 inches here. First of all, before you put this, you have to measure it, because I had to like measure and measure and measure before I got like the accurate part where I wanted this to be. This takes time, so you have to like take your time also. This actually takes time. You have to take your time. Better things take more time. So this is 1.5. I'm going to be using 1.5 here. I'm going to be using 1.5 here. I'm going to pin it down. we're going to pin this down, and then we're going to be taking 1.5 here. So the reason why we're doing it this way is for it to be able to align with the first front part that we did. We don't want one to be longer than each other. So for this, we're going to be using 2 inches. I'm going to be doing 2 inches here. This is our 2 inches. And then we are going to pin. We're going to pin. And then 2 inches here again. Two inches. We're going to pin. And then we are going to add our 1/2 inch on the upper part of the waist for the sewing allowance. We're going to be adding half of an inch here, and don't forget we're adding half of an inch also. Remember what I told you for the reason we're putting this half of an inch. We already had like half of an inch before, but we're going to put more so that our line, our rope will be able to pass through. We're going in half of an inch. We're going in half of an inch to the hemline. Remember, if you don't know how to measure your half of an inch this way, use your tape rule, please. This fabric, sorry, I keep complaining about the fabric, but it's actually making work, and that satin is just like that. Satin makes work harder for you, so you need to take your time while cutting your satin. 1/2 inch. And then for the side, for our sewing allowance, we are adding 1 inch round. For the sewing allowance, we are adding 1 inch round. We're going to be adding 1 inch round for our sewing allowance. I'm going to be adding 1 inch round. I'm going to be adding 1 inch round. And on the hem line also, we are going to be adding 1 inch for the hem. If you have any questions to ask, this is a very complicated pattern, and beginners, if you have any questions to ask, please let me know. I am in the comment section. So this is slash and spread method. This is what we call slash and spread method. So in the next video, I'm going to be showing you how to sew the skirts. But first of all, I think so now we are going to be cutting this through. We're going to cut. I'm so sorry for the background noise. I always make my video in the night, but my customer really needs this, so that's why I'm doing this in the afternoon. So we are done with this, and now I think we should go to cut the bias. We're going to need a bias for this. Okay guys, welcome. I hope you understand our previous lessons about the pattern. If you don't understand anything about the pattern, please do let me know. Now we are entering into the sewing tutorial. So we are starting from our side seam. Remember, we put in half of an 1 inch for the sewing allowance, and now I'm going to start. I pinned up my pattern, my fabric to each other, so I'm going to sew in my 1 inch on the both side seam. I already pinned my pattern. I'm going to sew the 1 inch on each of the side seam, and I'll be right back when I'm done with that.